Hello everyone. Let's wait for a minute before we start the webinar for the subscription and recurring billing management. Hello everyone. Welcome to the webinar of this awesome solution, the subscription and recurring billing management. A smart way to manage subscriptions, recurring billing, tax calculations, and much, much more. Before we go ahead, let's see how this webinar is organized. The lines for all the participants are muted. However, please feel free to use the chat window to ask any question. And at the end of the webinar, I will try to answer most of the questions, if not all. My name is Ninad, and I am the Business Development Manager for iNogic. Now, speaking of iNogic, we are a leading service provider and ISV for past more than a decade. And we have exclusive Dynamics 365 products. We are very much active in the appreciated by the community. We truly believe in the philosophy of one-click solution, which is building productivity apps that reduces multiple steps which otherwise a CRM user has to take. As you can see on the slide, we have various applications on the offering. I would like to take a moment and very briefly describe some of them. The first one is Mapletex. Mapletex is certified for Microsoft Dynamics 365 and it helps businesses around the world to plot, plan, visualize, and analyze the Dynamics CRM data on a map. And it offers seamless mapping services. One of my favorite apps from the bouquet is the SharePoint Security Sync. It is a comprehensive solution for integrating Dynamics 365 with SharePoint. It also synchronizes the security privileges from Dynamics 365 to SharePoint to ensure secure, reliable access to all of your confidential documents. Apart from developing these awesome applications, we are also an SI. We do assist partners and customers with offshore development services. So in case you have any requirement ranging from customizations to world-changing idea, I would request you to get in touch with us on crm@inogic.com. So the agenda for today is I will start with the challenges faced with the subscription and recurring billing. Once we have identified the challenges, we will see how we can manage and streamline the subscription and recurring billing, followed by a small yet effective demonstration. And then I will open the floor, of course, via the chat window for the Q&A session. So ideally, how does any subscription or a recurring billing, recurring based companies work? Now, first, they generate their business with either the help of their sales and marketing team or with the help of the partners or with the help of both. Once the business is confirmed, then they need to manage the recurring invoices. Now, this is where a challenge of streamlining recurring billing processes in Dynamics 365 CRM can be experienced, as there is very little to no flexibility in scheduling invoices or the sales orders on daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Also, keeping a track and then sending the reminders for the payments and the renewals manually is a challenging task. And even if timely reminders are sent somehow, In the real world, sometimes the payments are delayed. We hope it's never delayed, but that's how it works. And that's where we face a challenge of calculating the penalty on the delayed payments. Now, the list can be very long, but I'm just shortening it for the sake of the demonstration. Now, the subscription and recurring billing management seamlessly covers all the facets that we just witnessed with the help of certain schedules. So we have the subscription schedule, a schedule that allows flexible billing system, which lets you automatically bill annually, quarterly, monthly, or even daily. With delayed charge schedule, we can set up the delayed charge for the penalty calculations on overdue transactions. With the reminder schedules, we can schedule automatic reminders to your customers regarding their upcoming or past due payments. The margin schedule lets us to set up the margin details for the margin that needs to be paid to the partners or your resellers. With tax schedules, we may create specific tax schedules and tax details to calculate taxes. Also, we can use the geolocational tax calculation using Avalara tax. And to take it a step further, the subscription and recurring billing management also provides an intuitive dashboard for revenue analysis, which gives a lot of insights with metrics like the ARR, the annual recurring revenue, monthly recurring revenue, and all the other important parameters at a glance. So let's come to the app of the moment, the subscription and recurring billing management. So what is subscription and recurring billing management? For whom it is useful? Well, let me simply put it this way. If you have a product or a service that needs to be billed after a certain duration, then the subscription and recurring billing management is your answer. Let's see the subscription and recurring billing management live in action with a demo. So let me switch to my CRM window. So to initialize the subscription and recurring billing management, all we need is to configure the product that we have. Now, for the demonstration purpose, I have kept all the products which are available with iNogic. One of the key products or one of the flagship products that we have, excuse me, is the Map My Relationships. So while configuring the Map My Relationship, we have kept it very simple with the default unit, default price list, decimal supported, and so on. However, the real magic lies in the tab of subscription management. Now, within the subscription management, we have configured what is the exact type of the product Map My Relationship. With the first flag, which is the is add-on flag, we determine that the Map My Relationship is a standalone individual product and it's not an add-on. The second field, which is the charge type, determines what type of charging will be done for the Map My Relationships product, whether it's recurring or one time. Then we can also create multiple plans basis on the currency, basis on the duration that you want to bill, and so on and so forth. Let me give you a exact insight. How does the new plan looks like? So here, if you see, we can determine the currency, we can determine the bill every and the interval. And with the combination of bill every and interval, any duration can be easily configured. So with bill every, we can determine whether you want to bill after certain days, after certain weeks, months, or years. And what is that certain number can be easily mentioned in the interval. For example, I want a certain product to be billed, let's say semi-annually. I can put it as X months and the interval would be 6, as simple as it is. The subscription and recurring billing management also support almost all the type of the pricing model which are prevalent in the industry, whether it is flat fee per unit, tiered, volume, or stair step. Now, as we can see, the Map My Relationship product has been kept as a pricing model of the stair step. Moving ahead, let's say once we have all the products configured with the subscription and recurring billing management, all we need to do is now just go ahead and start creating the opportunities. So I've pre-filled some of the data in this. In fact, I've only pre-filled one, which is the topic interested in Map My Relationships. So with the subscription and recurring billing management, we have a couple of fields to identify whether this particular opportunity is coming from a partner or from our end user directly. So let's say hypothetically for the demonstration, we have a partner called as Catalyst Technologies. The name itself is sufficient. They are the one because of which the transaction is happening. And they are bringing in their customer, let's say Technotronics Innovations. So what I'll be doing, I'll be going ahead and since the Catalyst Technology is bringing in the business, I'll select, and they are my partners, I'll select the Catalyst Technology. The moment I select the Catalyst Technology, you may notice that a margin schedule of 10% was applied. So what's exactly a margin schedule? So in the real world, when we want to give our partners, our resellers, a certain percentage, that's what we can define in the margin schedule, something which we can find it out under the schedules. So here I have defined a couple of margins, which is the first one is the 10%, and the second one is the 5%. And further, what I have done is I have associated for the account of Catalyst Technologies under the subscription management, I have associated 10% as a default margin schedule. Now, the result of which is every time I select my bill to customer as Catalyst Technologies, this is populated automatically. Now, let me just close this because my ship to customer is Technotronics and not the Catalyst. So I'll just select over here and let me just click on save. Now, once I have set my bill to customer and ship to customer, the next step is to add the product line items. So let me go to the product line items tab and let me just select the proper price list over here. Let's say I want the system calculated and let's go ahead and add the product. Now, the moment I click on add product, you get a small form in which probably the most important field is the show subscription fields. Now, the moment I turn this field on, all the fields that are associated with the subscription, something like the subscriber count, which plan they are going to go for a selection, all of them will be visible. So the moment I turn this field on, you may notice the commitment period, the bill every, the interval, the subscriber count, all of these fields which are relevant to the subscription schedules, they are being visible. So let's select the product, which is Map My Relationships. The unit would be auto-populated, and let's go ahead and select a plan. Now, basis on the plan that we are selecting over here, the commitment period will be populated automatically. For example, if I select, let's say, the 1 year stair-step model for new USD, the bill every is automatically coming as years. If it is the case, if I select it as month, the bill every would be months. The next one is the commitment period. Now, when we talk about the commitment period, it's basically nothing but the tenure for which your customer is coming for this particular product. So I have set it that the commitment period is for 1 year. Let's move ahead and let me give the subscriber count as 50. Is it taxable? Let's keep the tax out of the calculations for the current demonstration. Let me just click on save and close. So what happens now is basis on the plans that we had configured for the Map My Relationship product and the subscriber count that we have entered right now, the pricing would be calculated automatically, as we can see over here. Not just the pricing, even a certain discount has been applied. Now, what is the significance of this discount? This discount is basically the amount of the partner margin for which we had selected when we were creating this particular opportunity, which was the 10%. So looks good. Let me just click on save and let's follow the happy path and create a quote for our customer. So creating a quote is quite easy. All I just need to do is take on the new quote. And once I hit the new quote, all the values that we have selected, entered, calculated up till this particular moment of time, all of them will be now populated within my quote. So we have all the bill to customer, ship to customer, the margin schedule, what was the amount, what was the discount, so on and so forth. So let's say we just activate this particular code. Now, in the real world, we might have few revisions, no doubt about that. But hypothetically, let's say we got the approval for this code. And once I activate the code, to convert this code into a subscription schedule, all I need to do is just click on a button which says convert to subscription schedule. So let's go ahead and hit this button so that all the values that are whatever we have set up to this point are now being brought into my Technotronics Innovation subscription schedule. We have all the bill to customer, ship to customer, the price list. We have the start date starting today for a period of 1 year. We have all the users and the pricing, everything. The more magic lies under this tab of subscription details. So let me very briefly tell you one by one all the fields. So the start date indicates the start date of the subscription, which is today. Now, bill every and interval. Now, a combination of these fields determines the periodic frequency to generate the invoice or the work order from their subscription schedule. So right now, since we have configured it as 1 year, every 1 year the invoice will be generated. The next one is generate when and the generate days count. Now these fields are used to generate the invoice. Now let's say hypothetically your business requirement says that you need to generate the invoice, let's say 5 days prior to the due date. So all we need to do is just select the number of days before the next transaction date and hit the value as per your business requirement. So what will be the result? The invoice will be generated 5 days prior to the next before the next transaction. So for simplicity, let me say current record is empty. Now the current record is empty signifies that the invoice will be generated on the date of the next transaction date itself. So at the top right, you may notice the next transaction date is today. So the invoicing will be generating today itself. Now the next one, the reminder schedule. Now the reminder schedule basically is used to send a reminder of the invoice that has been generated to the customer automatically. Now, I'll touch base upon the reminder schedule in the due course of the presentation, but for time being, I'm just setting the values. So the reminder schedule has been set to email reminder. In case if we want to associate some delayed charge schedule, we can also associate it. Now, I'll touch base both the reminder schedule and the delayed charge schedule in a few moments from now. Now, what is this new renewal reminder schedule? Now, the reminder schedule basically is used to send the reminders of the invoices that are being generated for the subscription schedule. However, on 23rd of November 2022, the subscription schedule itself is about to expire. So wouldn't it be nice to remind our customer about that, hey, you know, your subscription is about to get expired. Now, this is where the renewal reminder schedule comes into the picture. So let me just go ahead and hit renewal reminder. So what we have configured basically is 15 days prior to this date, a separate reminder will be sent to the customer. Looks good. So let me just click on save. Now, once we have all the subscription details in the place, now is the time to generate the invoice. Now, to do that, what I'm going to do is I'll just go ahead and click on flow and let's run a workflow to generate the invoice. Now, I understand that this is an ad hoc way of generating the invoice against the subscription, and I completely agree. A more preferred way would be automating the process of generating the invoices. Now, this can also be easily achieved by creating a record for the workflow trigger entity, which will run the process to check the subscription schedule at a preferred time, having the next transaction date as today. Now, for the demonstration, I've already configured one of the active workflow triggers, which is the generate invoice. Now, what this basically does is that this trigger, this will run every day since I've kept the poll interval as X days with the interval as 1 at a preferred timing. And what it will do is it will check all the subscription schedules and whichever subscription schedule's next transaction date is today, it will auto generate the invoice. Plain and simple. So let me come back to my subscription schedule and let me just hit on refresh so that let's see whether the invoice was successfully generated. So here it is. So let's just refresh it one more time. And here is the invoice that has been generated. So let me show you what exactly is present in the invoice itself. So basically the invoice will be also having all the data which will be automatically populated, the ship to customer, the bill to customer, everything. And once the invoice has been generated, it will be a good practice to remind the customer about the invoice that has been generated. Now, had the process been automated, the reminder would have been generated and sent to the bill to customer. But for the demo purpose, let me show you the same process with the help of a workflow. So let me go ahead and run a workflow. Now, again, all these workflows can be easily automated, just like the one we can configure for the invoice. Let me hit on this. Okay, so as you may have noticed, currently the detail section is completely blank. Now, what happens is when we had associated a reminder schedule, in this case the email reminder, with the subscription schedule, I'll just open up one of the rules for it. So what we have done in the email reminder is we have kept three rules. Send a reminder on the due date, one day before the due date, or one day after the due date. Let me just click on the due date. So basically what we have configured is the name of this. Now, is this a subscription reminder? Now, just to give you a heads up, we had discussed about something called as whenever the subscription schedule is about to expire, we want to send a reminder. So in case if we are configuring such a reminder, which is a subscription reminder, we will set it to yes. However, the current reminder that we are configuring is for the invoice, and hence I have when it would be sent on the due date itself. And the next question is to whom? So we have defined a functional role of manager, and the email along with the invoice will be sent to the manager of my bill to customer. Now, all these functional roles and the functional contacts can be easily created from here. So going back, let's say I'm coming back to my invoice, and let me just hit on refresh here. So what has happened right now is we have sent a invoice PDF, which is the attachment, to the manager of my bill to customer, which was nothing but the Catalyst Technologies. Tony Williams, he is the functional role of manager for Catalyst Technologies, and that's why the email has been sent to him. So let me come back. So once we have this email reminder sent, the next one is of the payments. So let's say what with the subscription and recurring billing management, we have incorporated a third-party app as well, which will associate a credit card with the account, and we can easily charge them back. However, just a word of information, this is a third-party app, and we can easily find multiple third-party apps on Microsoft App Stores, and then we can easily incorporate them as well. So what it will basically do is it will try to charge to the account, to the credit card which is associated with the Catalyst Technologies accounts, and if the payment is successful, or if whatever is the payment output, that will be reflected under the payments entity here itself. So it might take a couple of moments. So let me just hit on refresh, and here it is. So we have got some information, and the information, if you want to just explore it, it's made via credit card, and that's the reference number of whatever the transaction that has been done. Great. So what we have experienced right now is a complete end-to-end flow, right from opportunity to code to subscription schedule to generating the invoice to sending the reminders and to payment via third-party app. However, what would be the next action as and when the subscription comes to an end? So once the subscription is, let's say the subscription that we have created just now, it's coming to an end, the sales representative who was responsible for managing the customer might have to generate a new opportunity or a quote as per the customer's business requirement and invest a lot of time probably in re-entering the same details. Worry no more. With subscription and recurring billing management, we have this convert to button right here, and the sales rep in a couple of clicks can achieve creating a new opportunity or the quote as per his need. Fantastic, isn't it? Great. Moving ahead, another real world scenario that is prevalent is the customers miss on the payment on the due date, and that's why we have to apply a certain delay charge. So for simplicity, I've already created a couple of subscription schedules. One of them is for Catalyst Technologies itself, and they are again interested in one of our fantastic product, the Kanban. So in case if you notice, the subscription has already started in the month of June and the invoice has already been raised. However, let me show you what's there in the invoice. So however, the invoice is not yet paid and it is way past the due date. So what we need to do is we need to apply a certain delay charge. So let me just hit a flow. And let's calculate the delayed charge. So what happens when we run the workflow? Again, this workflow can be also easily automated with the help of the workflow triggers. So remember, when we associate a delayed charge schedule with any subscription schedule, we have this delayed charge which we have configured for 10%. Let me show you what exactly we have done. So what it basically does is it just adds a product called as delayed charge, and it just takes the 10% of the invoice amount that is due for the payment exactly 1 day after the due date has passed. So if any invoice has passed its due count by 1 day, it will add 10% of the invoice value that was paid. So let me come back over here. This was the original invoice, and let me try to click on refresh. And here it is. So what has happened is, since this invoice has already crossed its due date, 10% of the delayed charge has been applied. Now, the delayed charge has been applied on the amount which was after the discount, and that's why the delayed charge is showing something as $108. Another interesting real-time application is, your customer comes to you and starts using a product, and then he's super impressed with the product, and then he comes back to you in the middle of the subscription schedule and says that, hey, you know what, I want to increase the user count, I want to increase the head count, or I want to increase the number of seats. Worry no more. We have one more example here, which is a Mapletics, the flagship product of iNogic. So we have a subscription schedule. It was also started way back. It was for the subscriber count of 10. And now what happens is the customer Catalyst comes to me and says that, hey, you know what, your product is awesome. We want more seats. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to quickly create a new quote. Let's say he wants to add 30 Mapletics users. I've just set the bill to customer and ship to customer. And once I go ahead and create a new quote, I just need the name of this subscription schedule, which is Catalyst Mapletics Pro. So let me go to quotes, and under the subscription management tab, I can select the Catalyst Mapletics Pro, which is the subscription schedule. Let me click on save. Let me go back to summary. And now let me add the product in this particular quote. So just like similar to what we had seen, I'll just enable this flag. I'll go ahead and I'll say I want the Mapletics product. The unit would be auto-populated. I'll just add on the plan. And here you may notice that the commitment period is 0. Now it's 0 because the initial invoice has been generated itself. And if I scroll down, you may also notice that the existing subscriber count, I can find it here itself. And let me just go ahead and add another 30 users. Set the tax to no in this case. So subscriber count has been set to adding of the 30 users. Now the next question that arises in my mind is, okay, so 30 users I need to charge, but from when I have to start applying the charges? This is where this field comes into the picture. Start immediately. You want to start immediately on a proration basis, whether you want to start from the next billing cycle. So once the current subscription schedule ends and once it goes in the next billing cycle, from that he wants to start. However, we also notice that sometimes our customers comes up with a request that, you know what, we don't want to start on immediately prorated basis, and we don't also want to wait up till the next billing cycle. I want to start, let's say, I want to start from the new year itself. So that's why we have another field called as custom. So if I select the custom, it gives me an option to select the date from which he wants to start the billing cycle. However, for simplicity, let me say immediately and prorated basis. So let me hit on save and close. Now, before this works, let me go back to my subscription schedule. This was my invoice. And you may notice that I already have an invoice for around $1080. Let's go back to the quote and we'll follow the same process of activating the quote. Let me click on activate quote. And then I'll click on convert to subscription. So once the processing is done, you will notice that it opens my Catalyst Mapletics Pro subscription schedule. The first change that you might notice is in the subscriber count. Initially, it was 10, but since I've added the 30 users, now the subscriber count has become 40. And let me hit on invoices. And here you will notice another couple of invoices that has been generated. So this one was the first invoice that I had just touched base on, 1080 US dollars. And now what has happened is this invoice was given back as the credit of the unused tenure, and then a new invoice of $1514.96 was generated with the help of the provision. So it's this simple to even generate the new invoice on the basis of the added users on a proration basis. Another real-time use of the subscription and the recurring billing management can be in the terms of trials. So every time we get this request, any organization who is working on this model gets the request of having a trial. So all we can do is just go ahead and we can look out for our customer. Let's say I want to go ahead for Catalyst, and they want our product. Let's say click to export. I'll select the plan accordingly. Or maybe I'll just select created the trial. We may also come up with a new request from the customer that, you know what, I like your product, but I just want some extension for over and above this 15 days. All we need to do is just click on this extend trial and edit the number of days, and you can extend the trial. If your customer is super impressed with the trial and he says, you know what, I loved your product and I want to go ahead and purchase this, all you need to do is just click on this convert to subscription button, and this trial will be then converted into the subscription schedule. Great. The subscription and recurring billing management is also shipped with intuitive dashboards that I have just introduced. So we have all these, the MRR, the ARR, which indicates the stability as the organization expects to receive the revenue every month. We have the ARPU as well, which is nothing but the average revenue per user. It just allows all the businesses to deepen their analysis of growth potential on a per customer level. We also have the customer lifetime value, all of them ready in a glance. Not just that, you may also, now these are the SSRS reports that are actually shipped with the subscription and recurring billing management product. However, you may also develop your own Power BI reports, for slicing and dicing, something like this, which we have created for the demonstration purpose. So you may select the period, you may select the products for which you are interested to have a detailed slicing and dicing as per your business requirement. Furthermore, you may also create custom portals, thereby giving your customers the access to their subscriptions that are generated, the invoices that are generated, without giving them the access to your Dynamics CRM. For the demonstration purpose, we have created this with the Barry John as the user. All he needs to do is just click on subscriptions, and he will have a complete idea about what are the existing subscriptions that he has. Not just the subscriptions, he can also go ahead and click on invoices, and he can see and view all of the invoices under his name. So I'm pretty sure, looking at all of these features that I just discussed right now, you are pretty much excited to know of how we can get a hands-on. But before we go there, let me just hit a small, very small 30-second poll. After looking at all of these features, which feature do you think will be the most useful for your organization? Oh, I've already started getting the answers. Proration, undoubtedly, yeah, proration, right? Reminder schedule. So it's a great going margin schedule. So yeah, it's very difficult to actually select one of them as the only feature that might be, because all of them have their own beauty in their own way. So thank you for casting your vote. That pretty much sums up my part of the demonstration. So let me switch back to my PowerPoint. So the subscription and recurring billing management is supported Microsoft Dynamics 365 version 9.0 onwards, and the deployment model is on-premise as well as the Dynamics 365 online. Now, by now, I'm pretty much confident that you want to get an hands-on on this particular solution. Now, the subscription and recurring billing management is available on the Microsoft App Stores. You can also visit our website, inogic.com, and download the solution from there as well. Now, in any case, you will get a 15-day fully functional trial. I insist you go ahead, download, and get a complete hands-on on this awesome solution. Now, with that, I open the floor for any questions that you may have. Now, requesting everyone to please use the chat window for sending the questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, so the first one that I'm getting is the proration feature is superb. Can I get a hands-on? Yeah, you can get a hands-on, definitely. I just you can download it from the app source, and or you can visit our website and download it. Okay, another question that I'm getting is Uh, is it the standard invoice entity we have invoice going to our business? Yes, definitely. It's the standard entity invoice entity which is available with the dynamic CRM, so it will work absolutely well. Perfect. So any questions? Please feel free to use the chat window, and I'll be absolutely happy to answer them. Okay, so a big thank you for attending the webinar. We thoroughly enjoyed presenting the subscription and recurring billing management to you, and we hope that you are equally intrigued and you enjoyed the subscription and recurring billing management as well. Please go ahead, download the solution, and in case you face any issues, as always, please feel free to get in touch with us on crm@inogic.com. Thank you. Oh, I just got a chat. Thank you for the presentation. You're most welcome. It's our complete pleasure to present this solution to you. Thank you. Stay safe and bye bye from